Okay, Lynn, here's a review of the discussion that I had with Kelly Ritter. Unfortunately, I didn't get it recorded quite right, so I'm going to go ahead and just give you this YouTube video that will describe our discussion. So we talked about, I created a mock-up for what the DBL activity could look like. I call it a review activity, but you can call it whatever you think is best. And so I'll just read this for you. It says, you will practice selecting the following procedures based on the wording in a research question. And then it lists the procedures. And the objective is to select the most appropriate statistical procedure based on the wording in a research question. So kind of a repeat there. And then what the students will do is one thing we were thinking, and this is very open to your recommendation, but I did agree with Kelly that if it's not a quiz, we've seen in the past those DBL classes do not show much of an impact. So definitely, if possible, in order to make this work, if there can be a quiz, just small amount of points associated with it. But the quiz would be mandatory. And like it says, this quiz will test your ability to read a variety of statistical word problems and select appropriate statistical procedures to solve them. So basically the same wording as above. And then the optional, but we say highly recommended, is to engage in one of these two or both. And let's imagine a student wants to do both. So here's what it would look like. You have the extended decision model practice and the mini decision model practice. When they click on the extended practice, excuse me, this is the model that they will see. We have shortened our model to just be for selecting the correct method. So we don't have anything here about conditions. We don't have anything in here about solving or stating the problem, the parameter, excuse me, stating the null or alternative hypotheses. All of that has been taken out, and we've stripped it down to just selecting the right method. And so students, the assignment that they go through will look like this, where they can have a certain number. We do have 12 methods that students can practice with. And so they read the problem above, and then they'll click on the how do I decide, which we don't have here currently, but we'll put it in there. And then they can work their way through the model, and they can get immediate feedback going through this first one. And then later on they can get, and this would be an example of getting the right answers. They can also, we can give them an opportunity to take a number of problems through. And once again, this would be optional. They take as many as they need to see how well they know it. And in this case, it's delayed feedback, you'll remember, where they have to come back. And once again, if they just go through it mindlessly, they will not be ready for the quiz. But if they go through it intentionally, reading the learning modules, then they should be ready. And they can just take a whole host of problems through the model. Then, once they have finished this part, they can come to the mini decision model practice. And this really is, it's like a practice quiz. This is what the quiz will look like within DBL. And that's something that we hadn't thought of before. We thought the quiz would be outside of DBL. I'll show you here in a minute of how it can be used inside of DBL. So here is this decision model is a collapsed version of this model right here. In fact, I think in this PDF, I'll show you that here's the extended model, but this is the same question right here when they're using the mini model. It's just really one question. We do have an additional question after match pairs that separates it into the 3 types of match pairs, but essentially this is it right here. This is the decision point. And so the students experience with DBL, they'll read the problem, they'll click on the how do I decide, which will be here, and then they'll take each problem through. And so this one, I would read, say, an substantiated report is circulated that 20% of all Canadian air traffic controllers have high resting heart rates, greater than 100 beats per minute. In an effort to test this claim, researchers randomly select 173 traffic controllers, measure their resting heart rates. Of this sample of air traffic controllers, 47 had a resting heart rate of over 100 beats per minute, is there sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of Canadian air traffic who have a high resting heart is different from 20%? So I look at this, and what we hope the students will do through practice, they'll be able to say, okay, this claim right here represents a population proportion. This proportion, 47 out of, 47 out of the 173 traffic controllers, that's a proportion from the sample. We're comparing a sample proportion with a population proportion or a claim. So that would be a one sample z-test. That's just me processing that. And then I click, and then we see how I did. Okay. Then I go to the next one. And the students read through it and basically decide. I think that's a linear regression. I just saw a clue in there. And okay, very good. Now the students also, not only can they practice taking this practice, have this practice experience with the mini model, but they can also, if they click statistics and practice, they can practice using flashcards. In fact, I'll include later decisions here. So you'll notice up here it says total questions 0 out of 0. So I would look up here, and I think I'm just really quickly going to look at this, and I think this is going to be a one sample T procedure for means, and I was incorrect. So I can look through it and try to see if I can figure it out, and then I go to the next one. I do believe, just looking at this, I do see proportions. We're going to be comparing two different proportions. That's just me knowing this problem. And that will be a two sample z-test, z procedure. Okay, now I've gotten 1 out of 2, and I keep going. And the students can use this to prep for their quiz, and they can go through many, many, many of these different ones. And so let's see if I get this one right. That was a total guess. And now I'm at 1 out of 3, you can see. And then we keep on going. Now, then once the students are ready, they've practiced the extended decision model, which looks like this. Then they've practiced the mini decision model, which looks like this. And now they're ready. Now, once again, this is optional. Some students will feel like they can do it. I think very few will be able to, and we'll encourage them to at least go through some of the practice to see how they do. But when they click on the mandatory quiz, this is what they'll get. Let me go ahead and pull this up. The mandatory quiz, and the way they'll see it is it'll come up like this. They'll read the problem and select the correct procedure. And they'll just select. They'll go through each problem and select. And notice it doesn't tell them, it just gives them a green check that they've done it, but it doesn't tell them whether they got it right or wrong. And this is what, through Canvas, we can submit to Learning Suite. And so now we actually have the quiz, I'm sorry, not Learning Suite, but into Canvas. We have the quiz built right into the DBL. And they go through, and as soon as they finished all, they'll click submit, and a percentage will go over to Canvas. And based on the number of points you've given it, if I get 50% right and it's worth 10 points, I get 5 points. If I've gotten 90% of them correct, then I'll get 9 points, or just whatever point scale you set it at. And so just in review, we've shown you the last part was the quiz. This would be mandatory. These we recommend be optional for the students to choose to practice as much as they want until they feel confident and they're ready to take the quiz. Let me see if I have any other items here. I just put we recommend the quiz be mandatory, worth a small amount of points, and the practice activities be optional so students can choose what level of preparation they need and maybe use extra credit for that part. All right, look forward to your feedback. Thanks, Lynn.